Kansas is not a state most people think of when considering or planning an overlanding trip. One of the reasons Kansas isn't on most people's radar is because of the lack of BLM and national forest land like many other states have, and the perceived lack of free camping. But in reality, Kansas does have a lot of public land that has free camping. In this video, we're going to tell you about Kansas state fishing lakes and where you can find free camping all over Kansas. Hey everyone, if you're new here, we make videos about overlanding, camping, and backroad travels. Our channel motto is exploration, inspiration, and appreciation. We feel like there is so much out there to explore and discover when you get off the highways and hit the back roads. And as an older couple looking forward to retirement in the next few years, we can't wait until we're able to explore full time. We also hope our videos inspire you to explore more. It doesn't matter whether it's a big adventure or just exploring your own backyard. There is so much out there to discover. And we're very appreciative of this amazing world that we live in. There is beauty, history, interesting things to discover everywhere. We're so thankful to have the freedom, the means, and the health to get out and explore. We know that's not true for everyone and won't always be true for us. So we're seizing the opportunity while we can. And of course, we're very appreciative for you watching this video. Thank you so much. We're glad you're here. So let's talk about free camping in Kansas. As you can see, looking at this map in Gaia GPS, where the dark yellow is BLM land and green is National Forest land, Kansas really has neither. The only public federal land is down here in the southwest corner, which is the Cimarron National Grasslands. Other than that, Kansas has no federal public land where you can disperse camp. That doesn't mean that there is no free camping in Kansas, though. It's just a different kind of camping. Kansas has an abundance of state fishing lakes, and many of them offer primitive camping for free. There are more than 40 state fishing lakes in Kansas, and the properties range anywhere in size from 50 to 300 acres. On the Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks website, you will find a map that divides the state by regions. Each region is clickable and will open a new map of just that region with each state fishing lake marked on the map. And then in the list below, you can click the name of the lake to get a list of the facilities and activities that are available at that lake. You will also find links with information about the history of the lake, directions to get there, and even a phone number in case you need to call for more information. We just returned from a week-long trip exploring Kansas. We traveled over 1,500 miles around Kansas during that week, and we found this website immensely helpful in planning where we were going to camp during that week. This was our first time exploring Kansas, so we're certainly not experts on camping in Kansas, especially free camping, so we welcome any comments or tips any of you want to share. We camped at 3 state fishing lakes in 3 different regions while we were on our trip. So we'll share some info and video about each of those, and then at the very end, we'll explain some rules that apply to most of the state fishing lakes. 2 miles. This road would be bad if it was wet.
That's why there's ruts.
Yeah. Jewell State Fishing Lake was the most remote of the three that we stayed at, although there are definitely lakes that are more remote, especially in the western part of the state. Jewell is in north central Kansas in Region 1, about a half an hour south of the Nebraska state line. It's surrounded by ranch and farmland, and the nearest paved road is 2 to 3 miles away, so not that bad. The road definitely could be problematic after some rain, though. The closest towns are Ionia to the west with a population of 17, Jewell to the east with a population of 370, and Mankato to the north with a population of 836. So we'll go around this way.
Let's see, that's a road. That's your entrance to your fishing thing.
Oh, yes, I see. Okay, and then it splits. Say we can check out both areas. Oh, there is another area, another entrance down that road. There is an entrance on the west side with access to a vault toilet, information board, boat launch, and fishing dock, and it leads to the west side of the lake where there's a couple campsites, and the east side of the lake where there's a couple more campsites. There's also another entrance on the east side with a couple more campsites. The vault toilet, information board, boat ramp, and fishing pier were right at the entrance on the west. Yep. Maybe we'll camp right here. Plum Thicket Shores campsite. Oh, so the gate is open going back. Oof, oof, oof. Can we go further back?
I don't care.
Okay. Well, how many more campsites are back here?
2.
2? Okay. Well, let's go see. Open March 1st to October 1st. Oh, is there somebody back there?
Looks like it.
No camping. That one says no camping. Each site has a name, which we thought was pretty cool, and it will tell you on the side whether that area is open for camping. There are several sites around the lake that look like they could be campsites, but they're reserved for day use only. We drove back out and across the dam to the other side of the lake where there were a few more campsites. We drove past Catfish Cove and decided to stay for the night in a campsite called Willow's Weep. What you think?
They all seem fine to me.
Okay. Each campsite had a fire ring, a picnic table, a shelter of some sort, and even a lantern hanger. The next morning, we drove around to the east side. There was a vault toilet on this side and a water pump on this side, which we didn't see on the west side. There are several picnic shelters here and a couple more campsites. We didn't drive back into the campsites, though, because we could see there was somebody camped back there. We were here on a Monday and there was only one other camper here, but according to the website, this is a highly used fishing lake and we can see why. It was beautiful and peaceful. The second one we stayed at was Butler State Fishing Lake. It is in southeastern Kansas, Region 4, about an hour outside of Wichita. Even though it's back in the more populated eastern part of the state and not too far out of Wichita, it was still really quiet. We arrived after dark, so didn't really get a good look at it until the next day. The nearest town to this one is Latham with a population of 96, and access to this one is via a gravel road. Butler is much bigger than Jewell, and unlike Jewell, there doesn't seem to be specific designated camping sites. There are picnic shelters, however, and arriving after dark and having had the experience at Jewell with the shelters, we assume the first shelter we saw was a campsite. Now looking at the map, though, it appears it was a picnic shelter. Good thing we were out of there first thing in the morning. Picnic shelters are reserved for day use. There are vault toilets on both sides of the lake. And there is potable water on the south side by where we camped and a boat ramp on the north side. Campsites here are much more primitive. The only thing we saw were fire rings.
I don't want there. Oh, looks like there may be a campsite up here. So there's not, you just got to drive around and find them. There's not like a map or anything. Oh, no. Oh, I see another one across the little way there. Oh, so this would have been a decent one, too.
This is a more populated area again, and we were here on a Thursday night. We saw about 3 other people camping and a few people fishing.
Nice green area up here. Although where we were camped was nice and green grass, too. A fire ring right there on the grass. I mean, a nice big campsite under trees and everything in the summer.
The last fishing lake we stayed at is Lewisburg Middle Creek, right outside of Kansas City, all the way on the eastern state line. This is Region 5. The lake is right off of US 69 and less than an hour away from Kansas City. This is a much more populated area. There's even a large commercial campground called Rutlander Outpost just to the north of the lake. As you drive in, there is a large parking area, boat ramp, and information board, and this is where the camping is also. I read that there used to be camping on the south side as well, but that is no longer available. On the north side here, there are 10 campsites, and you have to camp in a designated campsite. We were coming in about 5 o'clock on a Friday night, so we were a little worried that it might be crowded. We might have a difficult time finding a site. As you can see, though, there were only 2 people here when we arrived. This is mid-March. Over the course of the evening, I think 3 other people came in, so there was still sites available, but I would imagine in the summer they could be pretty crowded. Other than a brief but interesting squabble over territory.
We're having a goose fight.
Just dinner entertainment, that's all.
Dinner and a show. Oh, jeez. Oh, man.
Battle Royale.
Right.
It was really peaceful despite being so close to the highway. Campsites here include a picnic table and a fire ring, and there is a gravel pad for parking, but you're not going to get a very big trailer in most of these sites. I would say, with the exception of maybe the first one and the last one, you would not get anything bigger than our teardrop in here. This campground is definitely meant more for tent camping.
Very peaceful. Peaceful night's sleep.
As I mentioned, there are some rules that apply to all of the fishing lakes. They all have a rule that you can't stay any longer than 14 days. Where there are designated campsites, you have to camp in those sites. Trash in, trash out. Whatever trash you bring in, you carry back out. Fires in, fire rings only. And here's one that may be a surprise for some people. Many of them are alcohol free. The only one that we stayed at that didn't have a rule about alcohol was Jewell Lake, the first one that we stayed at. The second two both were alcohol free lakes. You can find a more detailed list of rules and regulations and specifics about each lake on the website. We'll add a link to that website in the description for this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found something helpful here. And if you do have questions, please feel free to leave us a comment. Happy camping!